Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be just starting. We'll be starting it in just 2 to 3 minutes. Please stay connected. So, good afternoon, everyone. We'll begin this monthly webinar that we have every month. This is for this new series and what the projections would be there. So this is Manoj here. So I'll be joined by Gaurav as well. So this webinar ideally comprises of two parts, where we discuss what the indices, the stocks, and the strategy might seem prudent, which can be done for this series of April 2023. And then followed with that, we'll have a questionnaire sessions pertaining to the topics and the stocks that we have discussed in this webinar. So there would be certainly a lot of queries, but then we request you to stick to the pattern or the type or the topic we are discussing here, because we have boiled down to 4 stocks which we believe might outperform for this month of April. Then there is a view on your Nifty, a bank Nifty, and a strategy which can be done for the month. So I'll just begin. I'll share my screen here. Okay, so welcome everyone again for this monthly rollover series that we have. We will try to do it both in English and Hindi so that it accommodates all the audiences that are present at this point of time. So first we'll go with the general dynamics as to what are the data that we usually see and what do we infer out of it, and how do we decipher a trend or a strategy out of it. So we all know that still the major participant in the index trades are the foreign institutional investors, which are called as FIs. So we look into FI data, primarily the index option and the index future trades and the type of strategies they pertain to and they hold. And based on that, we come up with a projection which is used to get into an index strategy as well as the stock performance for this month. So the favorite trade that the FIs do is an index futures trade. So if you see, at least since the last 2 months, they have been short at an average of 75 to 85%. This is month on month, I'm saying, in between the month also. So 75 to 85 odd percent is the amount of short positions they have into this index. Now, index obviously is primarily would be more of a Nifty and bank Nifty, except from other Fin Nifty and indices like that. So it would not be wrong because of the open interest that the Nifty holds to say that, you know, the major shorts or the majority of the shorts that FIs have would be on the Nifty April futures, which is your index futures on the Nifty part. Now, there are two reasons primarily that we hedge. Obviously, thanks to the global cues, it's always on a volatile sphere that we see every night. There are certain news which comes in, and even the interest rate scenarios which is going on in the US, and needless to say, the other geopolitical scenarios that are piling up. So, shorting the Nifty futures has been a trend at least for the last 100 days, if I might say, for this year of 2023. So FIs also for this April series, they started with a good 90-91% or short. So of the net position that they have, 90% of the Nifty that they carry are a short positions. Now, usually unlike retail people, the short positioning in Nifty is not really to gather the points out of shorting an index or an underlying, but it is to hedge the position. So जस्ट टू पुट इट इन हिंदी, तो मार्केट में सबसे ज्यादा जो पार्टिसिपेशन होता है इंडेक्स फ्यूचर्स में वो मोस्टली एफआईएस के पार्टिसिपेशन से होता है. एंड ऑलमोस्ट लास्ट 2 से 3 महीने में अगर आप देखो उनका एवरेज एक 75 to 85% नेट इंडेक्स में शॉर्ट पोजीशन रहता है मंथ टू मंथ. जैसे फेब टू मार्च सीरीज में हो गया, अभी मार्च टू अप्रैल सीरीज में भी हो गया. अभी ये 85, दिस इज एन रफ एवरेज एज ऑफ अभी ये जो अप्रैल सीरीज स्टार्ट हुआ है आज, उसमें तकरीबन उनका 90 to 91% निफ्टी शॉर्ट पोजीशन या इंडेक्स शॉर्ट पोजीशनिंग है, और इंडेक्स में ज्यादातर उनका निफ्टी में पोजीशन है. सो दिस इज जस्ट अ कॉशन दैट वी आर सेइंग, बट जो व्यू इंडेक्स में है या स्टॉक्स में है, we will discuss that. So जो derivatives में सबसे बेस्ट, the better way or an easier way or an objective way to understand derivatives to simply compare the quantum of position. So अगर आप देखेंगे इस फर्स्ट स्लाइड में, मार्च सीरीज में अराउंड 1,05,00,000 का ओपन इंटरेस्ट था निफ्टी में, और इस सीरीज में अप्रैल में तकरीबन 15 लाख बढ़कर 1,20,00,000 है, यानी 120 लाख के निफ्टी पोजीशंस है. नाउ इक्विटी मार्केट्स स्पेशली डेरिवेटिव मार्केट में ये रेशियो बिल्कुल सिंपल है. जहां पे ट्रेंड क्लियर होता है, वो तेजी का जरूरी नहीं है, मंदी का भी हो सकता है, बट जहां पे ट्रेंड क्लियर होता है वहां पे पार्टिसिपेशन और ओपन इंटरेस्ट बढ़ता है. तो ये क्लियर सिचुएशन है कि ये जो एडिशनल 15 लाख पोजीशन जो निफ्टी में देखा था उसमें काफी इट वाज मेजरली ऑफ शॉर्ट पोजीशन. बट आप देखो पिछले 3 महीने में, जैसे मैंने कहा पिछले 100 दिन में निफ्टी में 600 से 800 पॉइंट से ज्यादा डाउनसाइड है नहीं, और ये पोजीशनिंग जो शॉर्ट में है वो तकरीबन 80 to 100 डेज से चल रहा है. सो to again say it is more of a hedging tool or an instrument rather than a directional trade for shorting the nifty on the downside. So with all dues to that, we believe that there is some positioning happening. Now FIs have been selling in the cash market, so needless to say, and DIs are trying to match it somewhere or the other. But then the view that we have here is, yes, there is some more confidence into April, at least by a 15 odd lakhs, which is a good thing. And because in the last 3 months, ideally we have not really seen the Nifty tank officially below, let's say, an average of 16,800, which twice or thrice we have taken as support. There is a possibility now that this participation or this 15 additional lakhs of April that we see, it is more towards the positive side, and it would at least help the Nifty to be in a range bound mode with a positive bias. तो बोलने का मतलब ये है कि ये जो एडिशनल 15 लाख पोजीशनिंग जो हमने अप्रैल में देखा है, जो मार्च से ज्यादा जो हमने अप्रैल में देखा है, जब भी ट्रेंड क्लियर होता है, भले वो तेजी का हो या मंदी का हो, व्हेन द ट्रेंड इज क्लियर, द पोजीशनिंग जो होता है, ओपन इंटरेस्ट जो आपके इंडेक्स फ्यूचर्स में होता है, वो जनरली शूट अप होता है. और क्योंकि 3 महीने में शॉर्ट पोजीशनिंग और लॉट ऑफ बेरिश न्यूज आने के बावजूद भी अगर आप देखो ऑन एन एवरेज 16,800 से ज्यादा नीचे निफ्टी गया नहीं है. So we believe that ये एक जो रेंज जो निफ्टी का बनेगा वो पॉजिटिव बायस की तरफ बनेगा. तो 16,900 रफली और 17,500, ये 600 पॉइंट में तकरीबन वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग निफ्टी काफी टाइम अप्रैल सीरीज का स्पेंड करेगा. So the positive range that we have on the Nifty, at least for the first fortnight, usually the first 10 to 15 days of April would be closer to 16,900 to 17,500. अगर आज के ट्रेड में आप देखो तो हमने काफी निफ्टी में ज्यादा पोजीशनिंग नहीं था, जैसे 2 to 3% ओपन इंटरेस्ट चेंज ही था, एंड द अमाउंट ऑफ पॉइंट्स वेर ए गुड 200 to 250 ऑड पॉइंट्स, और निफ्टी में फ्यूचर में प्रीमियम चल रहा है. तो अगर आप द सेकंड इंस्ट्रूमेंट को देखो, तो यहाँ पे अगर ये ग्राफ देखो, बहुत कम, वेरी वेरी रेयर, यानी इफ आई हैव टू स्टैटिस्टिकली से ये 12-13 महीने में एक बार ऐसा होता है जब एक ही स्ट्राइक के कॉल और पुट ऑप्शन में ह्यूज एक्यूमुलेशन होता है। तो अगर आप ये नीचे वाला ग्राफ देखते हो यहाँ पे, तो ये ऑप्शन साइड में 17,000 एक पिवट की तरह, पिवट का मतलब ये होता है कि जिसके नीचे बेरिशनेस होगा और जिसके ऊपर फिर भी पॉसिबल बुलिशनेस माना जाता है। तो 17,000 पे आप देखो तो कॉल और पुट ऑप्शन का हाईएस्ट ओपन इंटरेस्ट है, बट द डिफरेंस और द what is it, the objectivity that we like here is जो पुट ऑप्शन है 17,000 का, वो तकरीबन कॉल ऑप्शन से भी एक 50% ज्यादा है। तो पुट ऑप्शन ऑलमोस्ट 1,25,000 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स है और जो कॉल ऑप्शन है वो तकरीबन 75 है। अभी दिस इज एज पर द भाव कॉपी जब भी एक्सपायरी हुआ था। ऑब्वियसली इंटरडे में फर्क दिखता है, बट इससे इतना जरूर पता चलता है कि 17,000 में पुट राइटर्स, ये जो अप्रैल का मंथ का एक्सपायरी का, ये वीकली एक्सपायरी नहीं है, ये मंथली एक्सपायरी है। तो वी आर सीइंग good amount of put writing at 17,000, and again as I said, the range on the upside can be 17,500. So if you just combine these two analysis, which is your index futures and index option, it comes to a view that Nifty would find more support towards 17,000, and there is a possibility of Nifty again to face some resistance closer to 17,500. So ये रहा, this is the range that we are expecting. और स्टॉक्स जो निफ्टी में आउट परफॉर्म करेंगे, व्हाट वी मीन बाय आउट परफॉर्मेंस, अगर निफ्टी मंथ ऑन मंथ 2% चलता है तो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग द स्टॉक टू बी मोर देन 2%। ये अप्रैल सीरीज के लिए तो वो होगा आपका कोटक बैंक, पीएफसी और मन्नपुरम। अभी जो फाइनेंशियल एंड बैंक्स, वी ऑल नो दैट दे कंट्रीब्यूट टू ऑलमोस्ट 30 to 34% वेटेज इन योर निफ्टी। तो बैंकिंग में अगर पिछले साल आपको याद होगा तकरीबन अप्रैल 22 में या 22-23 में जब भी एचडीएफसी का मर्जर न्यूज आया था, उस टाइम पे बैंक निफ्टी में काफी पोजीशनिंग आया था 30 से 32 और लाख, जबकि एवरेज होता है 18 से 20 लाख। और ये जो इवेंट जो कल्मिनेट हुआ था वो अराउंड दिसंबर में हुआ था, तो इवन दैट टाइम वी हैड सीन दिस पोजीशनिंग। अभी 3 महीने के बाद हमने मार्च 15 या 14-15 के आसपास से देखा है कि अप्रैल और मई में बैंक निफ्टी में पोजीशनिंग बनने चालू हो गया। तो बैंक निफ्टी भी अगर आप देखिए 26 लाख का जो मार्च का ओपनिंग था, इस वक्त अप्रैल में वो 35 लाख है। सो वी आर पॉजिटिव अगेन बाय अ गुड 9 लाख। और आज के मार्केट में भी और कल के मार्केट, जैसे एक्सपायरी के दिन भी आपने देखा होगा कि जो अपसाइड है, जो पॉजिटिव आउट परफॉर्मेंस था, वो आपके बैंक निफ्टी में था। अभी पिछले महीने जैसे मार्च सीरीज में निफ्टी तकरीबन 2.3% नेगेटिव था और बैंक निफ्टी थोड़ा फ्लैटिश था, ऑलमोस्ट 0.2। तो बैंक निफ्टी जो 2.5% नीचे हो सकता था निफ्टी के विद रिस्पेक्ट टू निफ्टी, इट डिड नॉट रियली हैपन। सो वी हैव बीन सीइंग सम आउट परफॉर्मेंस इन बैंक्स एंड वी एक्सपेक्ट कि अप्रैल सीरीज में भी वो होगा। नीडलेस टू से द मेन रीजन अगेन यहाँ पे पोजिशनिंग ऑफ ओपन इंटरेस्ट 9 लाख है, 9 लाख एडिशनल है। तो 25 लाख के बेस पे 9 लाख इज अ गुड 40%। सो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग ऑलमोस्ट 35-40% मोर पोजिशनिंग। तो स्ट्रेंथ बैंक निफ्टी में और बैंकिंग में ज्यादा होगा। सेकंड, अगेन एक्सक्यूज मी, इवन ऑन द ऑप्शन साइड, बैंक निफ्टी ऑप्शंस में अगर आप देखिए तो 40,000 एंड 39,500, ये 500 पॉइंट्स में मैक्सिमम पुट एंड कॉल बेस है। तो 39,500 पुट में एंड 40,000 कॉल में। सो ऑब्वियसली ये मंथली है, तो वी ऑलवेज से दैट it all depends कि the next 10 to 12 days में ये ज्यादातर असर करता है। उसके बाद जो है रेंज शिफ्ट होता है। तो बैंक निफ्टी में अपसाइड जो है वो अभी भी यहाँ से और एक 42,000 की और जो बेस है, जो सपोर्ट है, वो 38,800 से लेके 38,500 का है। तो अगर ये दोनों इंडाइसेस में निफ्टी और बैंक निफ्टी में इफ वी सिंपली सम इट अप, तो ये है कि जो एडिशनल पोजीशन है निफ्टी में तकरीबन जो एक्स्ट्रा हो गया, बैंक निफ्टी में जो एडिशनल 6 to 7 लाख था, एंड जो ऑप्शन बेस ये बता रहा है कि दोनों में अपसाइड रेंज पॉसिबल है। और वही हमने आज के मार्केट में भी देखा, क्योंकि जो भी कॉल्स आ रहे हैं, अगर आपने देखा होगा इंडेक्स का भी प्रिसाइसली, तो वो कॉल स्प्रेड और बुल कॉल स्प्रेड और ये रेंज को डिफाइन करते हुए ही आया है। सो बेसिकली द व्यू है यहाँ से भी अभी निफ्टी में भी और एक मे बी 100-200 पॉइंट्स का तेजी पॉसिबल है with a 17,500 as a resistance, and बैंक निफ्टी में तकरीबन 41,800 से लेके 42,000 में we are expecting some resistance. So what I'll do is based on sector specific, ये जो थोड़ा मैं बताऊंगा कि एक आउट परफॉर्मेंस I would like to portray here। ये जो the IT space जो निफ्टी आईटी स्पेस होता है, द स्टॉक्स विच आर देयर इन द निफ्टी 50, उनका एक कोरिलेशन है, वी वर्क ऑन सर्टेन कोरिलेशन बिटवीन द सेक्टर्स एंड इंट्रा सेक्टर। तो उसमें ये पता चला है देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि आईटी में यहाँ से डाउन साइड का पॉसिबिलिटी कम है। तो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग, जैसे हमने कहा कि बैंकिंग में आउट परफॉर्मेंस हो सकता है, तो इस मंथ में और अगले मंथ में जनरली आईटी एक क्वार्टर यानी for 3 months it usually shows a positive alpha. So we are expecting not only this month, there is a possibility that maybe this quarter, that is April, May and June, we might actually see even sorry, March, April and May, we might actually see the IT, NSE IT also outperform. So अगर आप देखो, जैसे आज भी इन्फोसिस का जो कॉल था पिछले 2 दिन से था, जबकि मार्केट तभी नीचे भी था, बट स्टिल वी आर सीइंग कि इन्फोसिस, टीसीएस और एचसीएल टेक, आई गेस टीसीएस में थोड़े शॉर्ट पोजीशंस थे, बट देन HCL Tech और Infosys में काफी अच्छा बायस है, and we are expecting these two stocks to outperform. So ये this is on a generic term we are saying, but अगर रोलओवर के हिसाब से आप देखो तो रियल्टी सेक्टर जो है उसमें सबसे ज्यादा 96% ऑफ रोलओवर दिखा गया। मेटल्स में हालांकि देयर वर सम शॉर्ट पोजीशन इन द लास्ट 3 to 5 days, बट देन यस, metal has been at least at par with 95% of rollovers. और ऑटोमोबाइल्स पिछले एक, वी माइट से दैट at least 1.5 months में we are not really seen much buying, but then that rollover जो एवरेज में at least 90-94% होता है, वो एक 2 to 3% कम है, which is not really much, but then yes, it has been lesser to the average. So again, realty at least has rolled more, but stock specific and sector specific, banking and IT, there are high chances that we might see it outperform at least for this month of April. Now there are 4 stocks wherein I hand it over to Gaurav, who will give you cues on those stocks which can outperform. Over to you, Gaurav.
So thank you everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Hello everyone. So today we have come up with 4 stocks as usual, but the approach we kept is 3:1. That is 3 are on the long side and 1 is on the bearish side. Now first is Kotak Mahindra Bank. But before that, let me just reiterate our view on Bank Nifty, what sir has just mentioned. So Bank Nifty on expiry to expiry basis remained almost flat, shed nearly 100 odd points, but huge open interest addition seen. As sir mentioned, the Bank Nifty future, April future is starting with 35 lakh shares as compared to 26 lakh in March series. The index outperformed the benchmark Nifty, which lost over 2%. Since there are long rollovers in Bank Nifty in last 2 to 3 days of March series, we believe this pullback to extend towards 41,500 to 42,000 levels. This is what we have observed in today's session as well. So keeping that in mind, our first recommendation is Kotak Bank. So the stock gained nearly 1% in March series with no major change in positioning, but the stock, after bouncing off from its support, and that is major support at 1660 levels, it has done well in last 3 days of expiry, suggesting long rolls in the Kotak Bank. We believe stock might outperform Bank Nifty in the April series. Yes, we understand that it has been the consistent laggard in the previous 8 to 9 session, but things have now changing for this stock, and we believe the stock has the potential to test 1780 to 1800 levels in the near term. So yes, Kotak Bank is a buy from our side for the April series. Now, the next 2 stock that we have belongs to financial space. As sir has mentioned that banking and financial sector is likely to outperform. So yes, we have kept these our 3 long recommendation from BFSI space only. So second is Manappuram Finance. The stock gained over 17% in March series with decline of 15% open interest. That indicates some short covering, but some long formation also visible intermittently in penalty week of expiry. That suggests participants are not interested in carrying shorts, but in long formation. So thus we expect the stock to continue its positive momentum, holding 113 levels, that is 113. Stock might inch towards 135 levels in the near term. So Manappuram is also our buy recommendation for the April series. Next we have PFC. So Power Finance Corporation. This stock gained almost 2%, that too with the rise of 15% open interest in March series. That suggests long formation. See, price increase, and that too with the open increase in the open interest, which suggests long formation. Now the stock is finding some trend line support around 145 levels. and witnessed some bounce with long rolls in last day of March series, that is in the previous session. So holding 140 levels, we expect we see PFC is positively biased, and stock can test 160 to 65 levels in the April series. So these were the three stocks that we believe can outperform the index. First was Kotak Bank, second was Manappuram, and third is PFC. Last we have Vedanta. We saw in the previous series that the metal sector has been under pressure with the likes of Tata Steel, Vedanta, Coal India. These stocks declined over 5% each, and that too with the increase in the open interest. So our pick is Vedanta. So why we pick the stock? The stock corrected over 8% with the addition of 25% open interest in March series. The shorts are being rolled at 95%, that suggests carrying forward of this shorting in the stock. So we advocate to have a negative view in Vedanta Limited or the metals pack. The metal pack might not perform well or underperform the index. And specifically Vedanta looks weaker to us. And we expect Vedanta to slide towards 268 followed by 260 levels in the April series. Stop loss for this view would be at 295. So yeah, these were the four names. First was Kotak Bank, second was Manappuram, and third is PFC looks good, and Vedanta looks weak to us. So yes, that is all from my side. Handing the call back to Manoj sir for further update.
Right. Thanks, Gaurav. So that these are the four stocks that we are expecting, at least for the April series, it will outperform or it might outperform. Now coming to the index, like what is the strategy we can do? Now, obviously, when you use options, index option precisely, there has to be certain consideration and calculation on the implied volatility and hence the volatility index also. So अगर आप आज के मार्केट में देखो तो आज जो विक्स था, जो volatility index था, वो तकरीबन 2 दिन पहले 15 के आसपास था, वो that is come down to 12.5%. So this fall, ये जो generally market जब भी तेजी की तरफ जाता है या shorts काफी cover हो जाता है, तो we see the IVs falling and hence even the VIX comes down. तो यहाँ पे हमने जो स्ट्रैटेजी, हमें ये लगता है कि जैसे हमने कहा कि निफ्टी वुड बी इन अ रेंज ऑफ 17,000 टू 17,500 और 17,500 के ऊपर अगर एक क्लोजिंग होता है तो काफी सारा शॉर्ट कवरिंग मार्केट में देखने को मिलेगा. तो दैट शॉर्ट कवरिंग आल्सो कैन गिव यू अ गुड 200-300 मोर पॉइंट, बट ऑब्वियसली we are not clear on that, but at least this 400 to 500 points range is there. So a better way where the volatility index or your IVs is not in your favor is to buy a call and put option of the same strike where the market is opening. So the market was almost at 17,250 spot. So we buy a 17,250 call and put option. Now, when you buy the total, it comes to almost 500 or 580 odd rupees in premium. So, and because the VIX or the IVs are not in your favor, and April is a big series, so what you do is you sell some out of the money call option to bring the cost down, as well as out of the money put option. So what we have done here is we have bought, or we suggest buying a 17,250 call and put option. Buy a call option closer to 290 rupees and a put option closer to 180 rupees. And to hedge that, you sell the same month end 17,800 strike call option at 50 rupees. And also
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Is the other way?
Yeah, I get that. So guys, यहाँ पे what we are trying to do is we are selling the 17,250 call and put option because the premium that we are getting in, we are trying to hedge it by buying an option. So what we have done here is we have not really bought, we are advocating because the VIX is on the falling side from 15 to 12, which I mentioned. So we would advocate selling that 17,200 to 50 strike call option because the major range that we are expecting the Nifty would be more or less in this 500 odd points. So when you get a premium itself of 500 to 560 in the starting of the month and you're expecting the range to be 500 points, so the strategy we are advocating here is to sell that at the money option, which is 17,250 call and put. But we know that selling option is a risky strategy, so we are hedging it in case if there is a short covering and the Nifty goes beyond 17,500. As I said, the short covering might come in. So we hedge the strategy by buying a 17,800 call option at 50. And on the downside also, if 16,800 is breached, there is a possibility Nifty might slide more, which we are not expecting obviously at this point of time. But because it's a monthly strategy or at least a fortnightly strategy, we hedge the position by buying 16,700 put. Now this entire combination happens at 370 rupees. Because we have sold the options and the money would be made by selling option, the stop loss is around 500. So 370 is what we are getting by doing this four leg strategy. The stop loss should be 500, that is close to 130 odd rupees, and we are expecting this entire combination to come down to 150. So what happens, guys, is like I said, obviously next week also we have a couple of ops. At least in the first fortnight of April, we have more than two offs along with the weekends that comes in. So a theta decay or the option premium which slides on or which reduces, it might happen more towards the April 15th onward. So we are expecting that even if the Nifty sustains in this 500 points range, this combination, even though the market is bullishly poised with a range bound view, we still might end up getting 150 to 180 rupees. So a short iron fly, this is because we are selling this option majorly of 17250 call and put. So shorting or doing a short iron fly is what we recommend at this point of time. So the rationale is clear. We're expecting the Nifty to be in a range of 500 odd points. And because we are selling an option, we are hedging it by buying out of the money call option in case there is short covering. And if there are some global news where all of a sudden we see some new bearishness, in case if that happens because it is market, so we're hedging it by buying a 16,700 put option as well. So guys, this is the basic understanding that we believe for the April series. So I guess the key takeaway would be that banking and IT, these are the two sectors where we believe there can be outperformance. This is when we mean outperformance, it is that the amount of money which comes in on a consistent basis. Because let me just tell you, generally we see a delivery based buying, which is your cash activity, cash market activity, and then we see a follow-up buying which comes into the equity derivatives through your stock futures. Now, because these two sectors, if you combine, that would have a good 37 to 38% weightage. That is almost one, let's say one fourth, more than one fourth, maybe even a 40% of your index is made up of, let's say, a banking, financials, and IT. So we believe that these would be the sectors that can always see a follow-up buying at least for the next 15 days, and it would be positively biased. So like Gaurav mentioned, the four stocks and on index, this is the strategy that we recommend. So we'll take 5 minutes on this. If there are any queries, please you can type it in the chat and we'll be more than glad to answer those. Thank you. Okay, guys. So now we'll take the question and questions if there are any. So please use the chat box and please let us know if there are any queries so we can be more than happy to answer. Now, the first, I guess we see a question which is view on bearing sector. Now, obviously, the bearing as a sector, we are not really aware of that, but then we'll ask the fundamental team in case if there are any stock pertaining to bearings. If I understand this properly, we will let you know on that. View on pharma. So this is one thing which I'd like to say. Pharma, at least September, October, if you remember last month, these 2 months, it tried to gain some traction. We had seen some cash buying as well, but then it fizzled out. When I mean fizzled out, the stocks really did not, or the sector did not really see much appreciation from where the base building was happening. So that bounce which happened, or the follow-up buying which was coming in, it got sold into. So as of now, at least in the last 2 months, pharma and FMCG are again behaving like defenses. So there is a possibility we might not really see much action into this April series, because as I was saying, this is almost after a good 5-6 months that we are seeing the Nifty start with a positive bias. And in case if there is a short covering above 17,500, that 200 odd points would be led more by your banking, financials, and your the IT index. So pharma might be a lackluster sector at this point of time. When I mean by that, we are expecting it might not really go beyond what the Nifty depends is, but then stock specific movement is very much possible. Fundamental view on Kotak, we will ask the fundamental team in case if they can jot down any pointers on this, because this would be more of a derivative point of view. But just because you've asked, as Gaurav also mentioned, Kotak would be the top pick, and we are expecting good movement in Kotak with almost 1800 as a near-term target. The stock is almost at 1725. So good 75 rupees, almost 5 to 7% target is what we are expecting at least in the short term for Kotak. So if there are any more queries, guys, please write in the chat box. So guys, one more reminder, if there are any queries, ICICI Bank target. Gaurav, would you like to answer this, the target that you have on ICICI Bank?
Yes, yes. So see, the stock has broadly been consolidating before till today, and now it has seen a breakout above 875 levels. But primarily, the stock was witnessing some short covering, the short formation which we had, which the stock had seen in the January series. Now, since it crossed 875 levels, we believe stock is biased positively, and we expect it to test 910 levels in the near term. So yes, the answer to your question is 910 to 915, which we can see in ICICI Bank in near term. Yes, sir.
Yeah. BSE industry, guys, this would be a strictly FNO and a derivative series as to at least on the index and the stock and the sectors we are discussing. Apart from that, obviously, the research team will be more than happy if you write it down to equity.research@delegate.com, wherein we'll be more than glad to answer the queries. So, guys, any specific derivative or sector specific on the index, Nifty and Bank Nifty queries, if you all have, please ask. Okay, so guys, I guess there are no more queries. So with that, we can this webinar. So that's the view that we have on the index and the stock specific. Even on this, okay, we'll take one more query on Reliance. So if you see Reliance, obviously in the last 2 days, we have actually seen it forming a good base towards a 2200 to 2220. And we believe that with this as a stop loss, the stock has a possibility to go all the way to almost 2340 to 2380. Now, positionally, if you remember, 2400 is where it is almost 1.5 months before the selling started, and closer to 2200, the base building is happened. So more or less Reliance is in this 200 odd points range. So towards 200, 2200 to 2220, it becomes a good base to go long. And we believe that the resistance would be more towards a 2360 to 2400 on the stock. The next question is on metal sector. So like Gaurav mentioned, even there was some short positioning happening in the metal, and we all know that metal sector has a relevance to the Chinese markets as well. So at least in the last two series, we are not really seeing much traction, except for Tata Steel. There was a time where we are seeing the stock doing good, but then overall the sector has not really seen good delivery-based buying or a follow-up stock future buying. So as of now, it is a muted sector. We do not expect much outperformance, at least in this April series. So we'll wait 2-3 more minutes. If there are any queries on this, kindly let us know. Okay, guys, I guess that calls it for this webinar. So in case, even after this, if there are any queries, feel free to write into us or even call us. So we'll be more than happy to deliver on this, at least on the index part and the derivative part of equity. Now, stock specific Dabur, obviously, we will look into it. Or Gaurav, you can give any levels for Dabur as a stock.
Sir, we do not track Tower as of now, but yes, you can call us directly and we'll revert to you.
Right. Okay, guys. So please feel free to write into the email at equity.research. I guess with that, we call this phone call. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a great day. Thank you. Thanks, Gaurav.